Hello, so today we are going to do a strength spotlight on Mikhail Koklyaev, who might be one of the generally strongest athletes, if not the strongest athlete of all time. And what I mean by generally is he competed at the top level in 3 different strength sports, and that's powerlifting, weightlifting, and strongman at the very, very highest level, which makes him generally kind of one of the strongest athletes of all time. There's a competition that doesn't really exist known as Supertotal, which is the combined total of your squat, your bench, your deadlift. Those are the power lifts, and weightlifting, snatch, and clean and jerk. And for Supertotal, Koklyaev had an aggregate Supertotal, all of his best lifts, of 1,482 kilos, and that is 3,268 pounds, which is absolutely monstrous. In terms of strongman, he qualified 3 times for World's Strongest Man and came in 3rd place in 2010. Generally speaking, he was active during the mid-2000s to early 2010s. This kind of period he was active. For powerlifting, he won the WPC Raw European Championship in the 125 plus class, which is extremely impressive, especially because, you know, he was mainly focused on weightlifting early and mainly focused on strongman late, so that he can just kind of breeze in and compete in an event where, you know, you have the bench press, which in particular uses a lot of the musculature that is not worked in either strongman or in weightlifting, because they tend to be more overhead oriented, that he can come in and just, you know, clinch the Raw European Championship and have an absolutely monstrous total of over 1,000 kilos. If I'm not mistaken, his powerlifting here, his best total is 1,007 kilos, or this is his aggregate total. Extremely impressive. To my best recollection, and this isn't in the wiki here, he won the national championship in weightlifting in Russia, which is, you know, a hard country to win it in, 4 times, but he never competed on the international stage. When asked about this by a coach, he apparently performed pretty bad on the international stage, and he took him out 3 times to compete on the international stage, and his best performance was 27 kilos under his best national performance. And so for whatever reason, he tended to choke on the international stage. Although the coach does say kind of earlier in the interview, he refers to maybe he was perhaps a little bit more motivated for strongman because there was more money in it for him. Let's jump into some of his lifts. Here we have the 210 kilo snatch, or 463 pounds. Notably, his arms were really long, so if he could grip it outside the collars, he would, but he can't. Very, very snappy, very, very fast. Let's take another look at it. It almost looks like he could do more, but this was his absolute best that he ever did. And 210, just incredibly heavy. Here we have the 250 kilo clean and jerk. This is 551 pounds, or if you're doing gym math, it's 550 pounds. Sometimes he took a long time at the platform before he lifted. Very crisp. And there we go, 250 kilos. Now we're going to take a look at his powerlifting, and we're going to start off with the squat. This video is muted because it's extremely loud. And he just flies with the squat, very, very fast. I'm not sure I've ever seen, this is 794 pounds. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone move 800 pounds that fast, you know, other than Koklyaev. Very, very, very crisp, and this is his absolute maximum effort. Of course, he's going to be more explosive because he has a weightlifting background more so. This is a lift at one of his seminars, which is particularly impressive, and is also a squat. This is a 310 kilo squat with no hands. Look, Mom, no hands. Now he's using bumpers, which cause more whip. I'm not sure if the whip helps or hurts. I assume it helps because it helps the bar kind of like hug around him. And so by loading the bar out wider, he is able to get the bar to bend more, which kind of gives a little bit more friction across his upper back, I assume. This would be my guess. But let's jump in. Now, I was not able to find his best bench in competition was 230 kilos, which is 507 pounds. I wasn't able to find this lift, but instead I did find 220 kilos for 3 reps off of his own YouTube, which is extremely impressive. This is 484 pounds. It's also particularly impressive because in theory he shouldn't be strong at bench, given like kind of where his backgrounds and interests were, mainly on the weightlifting and the strongman. But he could still blast, you know, 500-pound bench. I assume if he trained it a lot more, he'd be a lot better. Sometimes he likes to set up really long for a lift. This deadlift is one example. This is his best deadlift of 417 kilos or 920 pounds. Probably his most impressive powerlifting lift of 920 pounds. Again, powerlifting was not his primary discipline. I think you could probably consider him primarily a weightlifter or maybe primarily strongman, but this is just an example of how dynamic and versatile he was in terms of strength. He was extremely strong at a bunch of stuff. And now we're going to get into the fun stuff. Now, I made a video earlier on how I think that the best way to get weight overhead might be the Steinborn and jerk. This is a video of Mikhail Koklyaev getting 270 kilos or 595 pounds overhead, and this is, to my knowledge, the most weight anyone has ever gotten over their head, ever, in terms of lifting. So it's notable that this is a behind the neck jerk. This is not a jerk from the front rack position. The behind the neck position gives you a little bit more leverage to do more weight. To my knowledge, the next best performance in being able to get weight overhead is only 3 kilos lower, and that is Lasha Talakhadze. And this is a clean and jerk with 267 kilos, which is decidedly more impressive. Lasha is more impressive weightlifter than Koklyaev is, 100%. Lasha's, I mean, you can make an argument he's the best of all time, but this is, he's getting less weight overhead, but it is in a more disadvantageous way. I assume that Lasha could behind the neck jerk more than Koklyaev, but to my knowledge, this is the heaviest weight lifted overhead by anyone ever, with the 270 kilo jerk, which is, 595 pounds, just shy of 600 pounds. Next up, we have a little bit that's kind of close to my heart, and that is one-arm snatch. To my knowledge, Koklyaev has the heaviest one-arm snatch of anyone in the last, 50 years or so that's been alive, and I think the record was set in 1925-ish, sometime around here. And here's Koklyaev doing one-arm snatch with 110 kilos or 242 pounds. He's set up really long for this lift. And he uses a split snatch technique, front facing. If you look at some of my other videos, I do one arm snatch with the twist, which is the way Charles Rigulot did it. We're going to take a quick look at that in a second. But this is just incredibly impressive that he can do this overhead with one hand. If we take a look at Charles Rigulot, he did a 90-degree twist, and this is with 253 pounds. Now, this video itself is not 253 pounds to my knowledge. But the record of Rigulot is 253 pounds. I believe this is in 1924, and Rigulot's record is in 25 or 27, something like this. So I don't think this is the record weight, but he does rotate 90 degrees and catch it in a bent position, which I think is interesting. Recently, and by recently I mean about 7 years ago, Koklyaev tried to break the record of Charles Rigulot. I have the sound off for DMCA reasons here. This is this opener of 220 pounds with this warm-up bar, and just very, very impressive. It is the same type of Rigulot bar that is designed to have a little bit more whip and has the globe super far out, which is the type of bar Rigulot set the record on. And so it's this bar is 1 pound heavier than Rigulot's bar. This is the 254 pound bar. And you see he almost gets it. He's going to make a few attempts on it. But one thing I really like about Koklyaev is that he was willing to try a bunch of new things, as evidenced by him just doing this odd lift, the one-arm, snatch, and also him just diversifying so much in terms of competing in 3 different sports at the very top level of lifting, and it's just extremely impressive. He's going to take one more attempt at this, and the last attempt is the closest, and is very, very near a world record. Again, it is muted for DMCA reasons, but it's got some inspirational music here. Just imagine some inspo. And here we have absolutely wild. Now, I think the split snatch technique is probably not as efficient as the twist technique of Charles Rigulot, but extraordinarily impressive. You know, you can make an argument that this man is the strongest man of all time if you are looking for, like, general strength. Another good one, which we might do another time, is Mark Henry. But this has been a little bit of a spotlight and taking a look and reacting to some of the lifts of our dear friend, Mikhail Koklyaev. If you have any suggestions for people who you think should get a strength spotlight, feel free to put them in the comments below. Again, I mentioned Mark Henry. That's on the list of ones to do. Very, very, very strong. Very impressive, Mikhail Koklyaev. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. You know, the YouTube algorithm stuff. It does help out. And other than that, have a good day.